Waking up at night to use the bathroom might seem like a harmless annoyance, just another part of getting older. But what if I told you that those nightly trips could be sending your brain an urgent distress signal? What if something as routine as urinating 2 or 3 times each night wasn't just a bladder issue, but instead a quiet whisper from your brain, warning of something much deeper and more dangerous? For millions of seniors, nocturia, the medical term for frequent nighttime urination, has long been dismissed as a normal consequence of aging, a minor inconvenience to be managed with less evening water or a well-lit path to the bathroom. But in recent years, neurologists and geriatric specialists have uncovered a surprising and alarming link. A growing body of research now connects nocturia with early cognitive decline, and in some cases, even the earliest stages of dementia. This discovery is not just theoretical. It is based on decades of clinical studies, brain imaging, and real-life patient observations. And the most concerning part? It's not the act of urinating itself that's dangerous, but rather what's happening inside the brain while you're trying to sleep. In a healthy brain, nighttime is when our mental hard drives perform their most important tasks: memory consolidation, brain toxin cleanup, and neurological repair. Sleep is not just rest. It is the factory reset that keeps us mentally sharp, emotionally balanced, and physically resilient. But when you're forced to wake up repeatedly, especially in the deep stages of sleep like REM and slow-wave sleep, that restorative cycle is broken. Every time you stir awake, even for a minute or two, your brain is jolted from its repair mode. And when this happens night after night, over months and years, the effects begin to accumulate, silently eroding memory, mood, and executive function. Researchers at Boston University found that a single disrupted night of sleep can reduce the brain's ability to clear harmful proteins like beta amyloid, one of the key culprits behind Alzheimer's disease. So, what causes these frequent bathroom trips? The answer is multifaceted. In seniors, nocturia can be caused by decreased bladder capacity, hormonal changes that reduce urine concentration at night, medications such as diuretics taken too late in the day, or underlying conditions like diabetes, heart failure, or sleep apnea. However, when all those are ruled out or addressed and nocturia persists, neurologists urge families and caregivers to consider the possibility of a deeper issue. The brain itself may be struggling to maintain its circadian rhythm or failing to send proper signals to the bladder. In other words, if you're experiencing persistent nocturia despite healthy habits, it may be an early marker that your brain is under stress, possibly in the earliest phases of neurodegeneration. Studies published in journals like Neurology and the Journal of Urology now suggest that nighttime urination can predict cognitive decline up to 5 years before other symptoms become obvious. That means for some seniors, the first visible sign of a weakening brain isn't forgetfulness or confusion. It's a 3 a.m. walk to the bathroom. And because so few people make the connection between these events, the real issue remains hidden while the clock ticks silently in the background. Even worse, the sleep deprivation caused by nocturia accelerates other aging processes, weakening the immune system, elevating stress hormones, increasing blood pressure, and even impairing glucose regulation. All of these factors increase the risk of stroke, dementia, and cardiovascular disease. It becomes a vicious cycle. The more often you wake up, the more damage your brain sustains, and the more damage your brain sustains, the more likely it is to mismanage bladder control. But here's the good news. This cycle can be interrupted if you know what signs to look for and what specific changes to make. In the next section, we'll dive into the subtle warning signs your brain may already be giving you beyond just bathroom frequency. You'll learn what patterns matter most, how many trips per night indicate a problem, and what symptoms to track that doctors say almost always appear before a dementia diagnosis. Because if you can catch these early clues, you don't just improve sleep. You could delay or even prevent the onset of cognitive decline altogether. And it all starts with understanding how something as simple as a nightly trip to the toilet could be your brain's most urgent cry for help. As strange as it may sound, your brain is constantly monitoring the state of your body, even while you sleep. And when something goes wrong, it doesn't always send a warning in a way you might expect. Instead of memory lapses or confusion, one of the very first red flags that your brain may be under neurological stress is a disruption in its control of your bladder during the night. This is because your brain and bladder are in constant communication via a complex neural network involving the frontal lobe, hypothalamus, and spinal cord pathways. These regions help regulate when you feel the urge to urinate and when your body should suppress that urge to maintain uninterrupted sleep. In a healthy brain, antidiuretic hormone, ADH, levels rise at night to signal the kidneys to slow urine production so your body can rest. However, as the brain ages or begins to deteriorate due to early neurodegenerative changes, this mechanism can become compromised. A disruption in the brain's ability to release sufficient ADH or to coordinate bladder control through neural feedback loops results in frequent nighttime urination. And this is often one of the first measurable signs of neurocognitive dysfunction. But the problem runs deeper than just physiology. As you age, your body becomes more vulnerable to chronic inflammation, hormonal imbalance, and vascular damage, all of which play dual roles in both urinary problems and cognitive decline. For instance, chronic low-level inflammation affects blood vessels in the brain, which not only interferes with memory and focus, but also reduces the brain's ability to coordinate normal sleep and bladder rhythms. Similarly, insulin resistance and blood sugar imbalances common in prediabetes or type 2 diabetes can damage small nerve fibers and blood vessels that help your brain and bladder communicate effectively, leading to more frequent bathroom trips and a higher risk of developing dementia. The warning signs are subtle at first. Maybe you're waking up once or twice each night and brushing it off as drinking water too late, or maybe you're starting to feel less rested even after a full 8 hours of sleep, or perhaps you've noticed your thoughts are a little foggier in the morning. These may seem like everyday annoyances, but together, they paint a picture of a brain beginning to struggle. More advanced signs include waking up groggy or disoriented, having trouble finding words, or becoming unusually irritable after nights of broken sleep. In these cases, you're not just dealing with a bladder issue. You're witnessing the early breakdown of sleep architecture, where the brain can no longer move efficiently through sleep stages like deep slow wave or REM, both of which are vital for memory and emotional regulation. What's even more alarming is that repeated sleep disruption affects your brain's glymphatic system, the powerful waste clearance system that removes harmful proteins such as beta amyloid and tau, key players in the progression of Alzheimer's disease. In a well-functioning brain, the glymphatic system is most active during deep sleep, but when you keep waking up throughout the night, these cleanup processes are repeatedly interrupted. This allows these toxic proteins to accumulate, forming the very plaques and tangles that interfere with neuron communication and memory formation. Essentially, every night you're forced awake to urinate can become another opportunity for brain toxins to accumulate and further impair your cognitive resilience. That's why doctors and neuroscientists are now encouraging people, especially seniors and their caregivers, to stop viewing nocturia as a mere urinary issue and start seeing it as a possible neurological symptom that deserves real attention. Tracking how often you wake up, how long it takes you to fall back asleep, and how mentally sharp you feel the next day can all serve as crucial early indicators of deeper problems. In fact, researchers have started using wearable sleep monitors and cognitive tracking tools to detect patterns that could predict Alzheimer's disease years in advance. And what they found is shocking. People with high nocturia frequency are significantly more likely to show early markers of cognitive impairment in brain scans, blood tests, and memory performance assessments, even if they feel otherwise healthy. This is why you must begin paying close attention now. Because once the brain starts to show these early signs of decline, the window for prevention becomes narrower. But if caught early, there's still time to change course. There are key interventions that not only reduce nighttime urination, but also support brain health, regulate hormones, and restore the deep sleep your mind desperately needs. In the next section, we'll explore 5 highly effective and science-backed strategies you can begin using tonight to interrupt this dangerous cycle. Simple lifestyle adjustments, supplements, dietary changes, and relaxation techniques that help your brain reconnect with your bladder and give you back the full night of sleep that's essential to staying sharp, independent, and mentally strong well into your later years. Because the truth is, it's not just about fewer trips to the bathroom. It's about protecting your brain while you still can. Now that we understand the dangerous connection between nighttime urination and early cognitive decline, let's dive into the 5 most effective strategies to reverse this pattern, restore uninterrupted sleep, and protect your brain from long-term damage. First, you must focus on rebalancing your circadian rhythm, which is often disrupted in older adults and those experiencing frequent nocturia. This can be done by establishing a consistent sleep-wake cycle, even on weekends, and exposing yourself to natural sunlight within the first 30 minutes of waking. This stimulates the release of cortisol in the morning and melatonin at night, helping the body know when to stay alert and when to prepare for rest. Just 15 minutes of early daylight exposure daily has been shown to significantly reduce nighttime awakenings. Next, reduce fluid intake 2 to 3 hours before bed, but don't just cut water indiscriminately. Many seniors drink tea, especially herbal teas like chamomile or peppermint, in the evening to relax. But what they don't realize is that these drinks have mild diuretic effects that can actually increase urine output. You also need to be careful with alcohol. Even a small glass of wine and caffeinated drinks like black tea or soda, all of which increase nighttime urination and interfere with your brain's ability to reach the deep sleep stages required for memory consolidation. The third strategy involves addressing hidden blood sugar imbalances. High or fluctuating glucose levels not only damage nerves that control the bladder, but also impair cognitive function by limiting blood flow to the brain. What's especially dangerous is that many older adults are pre-diabetic without knowing it. Eating a large carb-heavy dinner can spike blood sugar late at night, creating inflammation that disrupts both your sleep and bladder control. Instead, opt for a light dinner high in protein and healthy fats. Think grilled salmon, steamed vegetables, or a small portion of lentils. And avoid late-night snacks, especially those high in sugar or processed carbohydrates. Another critical tip is supporting your bladder and brain with targeted nutrients. Magnesium, especially in the glycinate or threonate form, helps relax bladder muscles and improve sleep quality. Vitamin D supports hormone balance and immune function, and studies show that low vitamin D levels are associated with both nocturia and cognitive decline. Omega-3 fatty acids, found in fish oil or flaxseed oil, reduce inflammation and support the structural integrity of brain cells. One emerging supplement gaining attention is melatonin, not just for helping you fall asleep, but for reducing nocturnal urine production through its effect on kidney function and ADH release. But not all melatonin is created equal. Fast-acting formulas may wear off too quickly. So extended-release versions take about 30 to 60 minutes before bed are more effective for sustaining restful sleep through the night. The fifth and final strategy is stress management. Chronic stress floods the body with cortisol and adrenaline, which keep you wired at night and increase blood pressure, urine production, and inflammation. Practices such as deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, or a short guided meditation session before bed can work wonders. Some seniors have found success with gentle nighttime yoga poses that open the hips and lower back, stimulating the vagus nerve and calming the autonomic nervous system. Even writing down worries in a journal before bed can help offload mental tension and allow your body to relax. And perhaps most importantly, create a wind-down routine that tells your brain it's time for sleep. Turn off screens an hour before bed. Use dim lighting and consider listening to calming sounds like ocean waves or white noise. These simple habits train your brain to associate certain cues with deep, uninterrupted rest. Taken together, these strategies can break the dangerous cycle of frequent nighttime urination, poor sleep, and early cognitive dysfunction. But remember, consistency is key. You're not just treating a symptom. You're building a protective fortress around your brain. These nightly interruptions are not something to ignore or dismiss as a normal part of aging. They're the whispers of a brain trying to warn you that something deeper is out of balance. By paying attention to them now and making these changes tonight, you're not only reducing your trips to the bathroom, but also giving your brain the chance to cleanse itself, rebuild its protective networks, and stand strong against the diseases of aging. In our final segment, we'll reveal how just one simple tweak to your nighttime routine, used by leading neurologists and sleep experts, can completely reset your brain-bladder connection and dramatically reduce your risk of dementia, even if you've already noticed some memory issues or sleep struggles. To truly transform your nights from fragmented and restless to deeply restorative, there is one often overlooked yet incredibly powerful tweak you can implement starting tonight that has been quietly endorsed by neurologists and sleep experts around the world. And it involves resetting the delicate communication loop between your brain and bladder through a deceptively simple yet biologically profound nightly ritual known as neuroassociative priming. The idea is based on the concept of retraining your body to associate specific sensory cues and relaxation signals with sustained, uninterrupted sleep and reduced nocturnal urgency, essentially rewiring your brain's autonomic system to dampen the overactive bladder signals that frequently awaken seniors during the night. Begin this process by implementing a consistent bedtime cue, a signal your brain learns to associate with winding down and retaining bladder control. This might be a calming lavender scent diffuser that is activated at exactly the same time each night, combined with 10 slow diaphragmatic breaths while lying in bed, or a low, warm light and soft classical music playing in the background for just 5 minutes before sleep. Over time, these signals become neurologically linked to the initiation of deep sleep, triggering the parasympathetic nervous system and dampening the fight-or-flight loop that often overactivates bladder signaling. In parallel with this priming, introduce a gentle pelvic floor activation exercise known as the reverse Kegel hold just before sleep, which involves softly expanding and releasing the pelvic muscles rather than tensing them. This builds awareness and control over the muscles involved in urinary retention and reduces nighttime urgency by restoring proper tone and coordination between the bladder and brain. Even a short practice of this every night can reprogram the neural feedback loop and help prevent those frequent 2 a.m. awakenings. Pair this with a powerful visualization technique in which you mentally rehearse a full, uninterrupted night of sleep while lying in bed. Scientific research confirms that mental rehearsal stimulates the same brain regions as physical experience, meaning your brain can literally be trained to expect and deliver longer sleep cycles. Seniors who have adopted this practice report not only fewer bathroom trips, but also improved memory recall, better focus, and less daytime fatigue. And while all these techniques help restore harmony in the brain-bladder axis, it's also critical to avoid sabotaging your efforts with common late-night mistakes. Don't fall into the trap of mindless scrolling on your phone or watching stimulating TV programs right before bed. These habits flood the brain with blue light and dopamine, delaying melatonin release and causing shallow sleep that leads to more awakenings. Avoid eating anything within 2 hours of bedtime, especially salty snacks like crackers or processed soups that increase fluid retention and then excretion during the night. If you wake up, avoid turning on bright lights or checking the clock, both of which send alertness signals to your brain and reset your internal body clock, making it harder to fall back asleep. Instead, stay still, focus on your breathing, and mentally revisit your relaxation cues. Over time, this trains your body to stay in bed longer without needing to urinate. Beyond improving sleep, these changes can dramatically reduce your risk of dementia, because sleep isn't just rest, it's restoration. During deep sleep, your brain's glymphatic system kicks into high gear, flushing out amyloid beta and tau proteins, two key compounds involved in Alzheimer's disease. When sleep is cut short by nighttime urination, your brain is robbed of its one chance to clean itself. That's why seniors who sleep less than 6 hours with interruptions show a significantly higher rate of cognitive decline compared to those with uninterrupted rest. But the good news is, it's never too late to change this. Seniors in their 70s and 80s who implemented even half of the nightly habits we've discussed were shown in clinical studies to improve memory function, lower inflammatory markers, and reduce nighttime bathroom trips by over 40%. You have more control than you've been led to believe. This isn't just about avoiding the bathroom at night. It's about reclaiming your energy, your independence, and your brain health. So tonight, take the first step. Dim the lights early. Breathe deeply. Use your priming cues. Visualize your full night's rest. Give your body the chance to heal and protect the brain that serves you. Because every night of deep, undisturbed sleep is a gift of renewal, not just for your memory, but for your vitality, longevity, and peace of mind. You don't have to accept broken sleep and creeping memory loss as inevitable. The connection between your nightly bathroom habits and your brain's health is now clear, and by acting on it, you're not just preventing dementia, you're giving yourself the best chance to thrive for years to come.